All right, good afternoon. We're going to go ahead and get started. I know some of our members are still trickling in. There's just a lot going on this afternoon, particularly this time of session. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. We do have a full agenda, folks. And so we're going to do a little bit of jumping around. There's been some requests from some senators to try to accommodate some schedules here. So we're going to begin with Senator Hester for District 9. This is nominee number 21. And this is for the Maryland Stadium Authority. This is Adam King.
Thank you very much. Honored to introduce somebody who is not a stranger to any of us, Mr. Adam King, who has been nominated to begin his service on the Maryland Stadium Authority. He has a wealth of experience throughout the private sector, most recently working at Maryland-based Redwood Holdings. They obviously include companies such as EXN, TradePoint Atlantic, and many others. His work on real estate extends past his professional history. Mr. King has also been a member of the Senior Housing Council for the Urban Land Institute for over a decade. And his experience really underscores his ability to serve in leadership for both the public and the private sectors. And so I am very proud, colleagues, to support the nomination of such an accomplished and dedicated leader. Thank you, Mr. King, for your continued service to our state. Hand it over to you.
Thank you, Senator Hester. I'd like to thank Senate President Ferguson, Chairman Land, Vice Chairman Muse, members of the committee. Very proud to be here. I'd also would like to thank Governor Moore for his continued confidence in me and the honor of being nominated for this position. Look forward to serving with Chairman Thompson on the important mission of the Maryland Stadium Authority. I'd also like to acknowledge my partner, Heather Passmore, and my son, Ryan, who's 17 today for his birthday. We're down in Annapolis, so thank you guys as well. Be happy to take any questions.
Any questions, Senator Augustine?
Yep. Thank you, Chair Lamb. I just wanted to second the nomination. I strongly support Adam. He's just, really given a lot of himself to our state and his expertise. I am certain that he will do the same in this case, so I'm just really grateful for you signing up for more help for our state. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions for this nominee? Just wanted to also second the nomination. Just a phenomenal effort that you've had on the HSCRC previously. Know that you'll bring that insight and perspective to the Stadium Authority Board as well. And so want to thank you for your continued willingness to serve the state of Maryland. So thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for your service in this session as well. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
Next, we are going to go to, let's go back to the top of the list, and we'll go to Senator Guile in District 33. This is for the Maryland Aviation Commission, and this is Charles Madison.
Hi. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the committee. I am pleased to support the nomination of my constituent Charles Madison to the Maryland Aviation Commission. He has over 4 decades of experience across diverse fields, including communications engineering, cyber operations, environmental science, AI, and more. You have his resume, so I won't go through his very impressive background, but he has held many positions overseeing important projects and responsibilities, including as managing executive at the Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory. He's also served as executive director at Maryland Environmental Science. His background, leadership acumen, and deep commitment to public service uniquely position him to make substantial contributions to the Maryland Aviation Commission, and it is my honor to strongly support his nomination, and I would also ask for your support. And with that, Mr. Madison.
Thank you very much, Senator. First of all, I'd like to thank Chairman Ferguson for having us here today. The chair of the Executive Nominating Committee, Senator Lamb, Vice Chair, Senator Muse, thank you guys for having me here today. In addition, I'd like to thank the governor for having the confidence to nominate me for such a prestigious position with the state. And finally, I'd like to thank my wife, Angela, sitting there, and offer myself up for any questions that the committee might have.
Any questions for this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to go to nominee number 3. This is also for the Maryland Aviation Commission. This is Donald Clifford Stanton, constituent District 16, and Senator Love.
Good evening, Chair Lamb, Vice Chair Muse, members of Executive Noms. Senator Sarah Love from District 16, here to present to you my constituent, Don Stanton, who has been nominated to the Maryland Aviation Commission. You all have his resume, but I just want to point out a couple of highlights. Don served with distinction in the Navy. He has served as Deputy Assistant Secretary for Defense for Transportation Policy, worked in the U.S. Department of Transportation, served as the chair of the Colorado State Transportation Committee. He has a demonstrated passion for education and civic engagement. He teaches senior courses at the Johns Hopkins Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. I could go on, but most importantly, Don's deep experience in aviation, his broad leadership experience, his commitment to public service and to lifelong learning will be a tremendous asset to the Maryland Aviation Commission, and I hope that you all support his nomination. Don?
Thank you very much, Senator Lamb. Senator Love. Thank you very much to President Ferguson, Chair Lamb, and to Vice Chair Muse. I appreciate your confidence in us. And I want to thank the governor for giving me the opportunity to serve the people of Maryland on the Aviation Commission. And I'm glad to take any questions.
Are there any questions for this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening. Senator Love, don't go anywhere yet. We're going to go next to nominee number 6. This is for the Maryland Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors, otherwise known as MEDCO, and this is James Anthony Soltese, constituent of District 16. Senator Love, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair Lamb. Vice Chair Muse, members of executive nominations, again, Senator Sarah Love from District 16. Happy to be here to introduce to you my constituent, James Soltese, to the Board of Directors for MEDCO. Jim has a 48-year career spanning engineering and civic engagement. He has had some of the most complex development projects in the region. He has worked on Viva White Oak, the North Bethesda WMATA station. These really showcase his ability to balance development with environmental stewardship. We're very honored to have Jim in District 16, and I think we'll close that with his proven leadership and his deep understanding of Maryland's economic development priorities. I believe he would really be an asset to the board and to the state. So with that, I encourage you to support or to confirm him and turn the microphone over him. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Love. Thank you, members of the committee, Mr. Chair. It's a pleasure to be here. Also, special thanks to Governor Moore. I am looking forward to helping out this great state. I've been a very fortunate resident and business here for 40 years, and the future of the state and economic development is a wonderful opportunity for me to assist the state, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions for this nominee? Senator Feldman.
Yeah, I'm going to second that nomination. I've known Jim for many years, and he's really a tremendous asset to Montgomery County and the state of Maryland, and so I strongly endorse this nomination.
Thank you, Senator.
Any other questions for this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
Senator Love, your last nominee, I believe. This is for the Morgan State Board of Regents, Benjamin Barnett Klubes, constituent District 16, and Senator Love. Go ahead.
Chair Lamb, thank you so much for having me go back to back to back. I really appreciate that very much. Chair Lamb, Vice Chair Muse, members of executive nominations, once again, Senator Sarah Love from District 16, happy to be here to introduce my constituent, Ben Klubes, who's been nominated for the Morgan State University Board of Regents. To cut to the chase, Ben has deep roots in Maryland and a distinguished legal and public service career. He brings a type of leadership and commitment that really will be invaluable to the board. Throughout his 35-year career, Ben has combined legal excellence for a passion for public service and education. He is deeply committed to Morgan State's mission, and when I spoke with him earlier, he was very excited to serve on this board, to serve in this capacity for our state. And with that, I would encourage you all to confirm him, and I pass it over. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Senator Love. Chair Lamb, Vice Chair Muse, President Ferguson, and members of the Executive Nominations Committee, thank you for convening this hearing. I'm honored to have been nominated by the governor to serve on the Board of Regents of Morgan State University. As the senator explained, I've spent my life in Maryland. I'm excited about the opportunity to serve. I believe my 35 years of legal practice experience will allow me to be of significant assistance to the board. I'd like to thank my wife for her support, my two college-age children who are both at public universities. My daughter's a senior at Penn State University, and my son is a junior at University of Maryland, Sweet 16 competitor. He does not play on the basketball team, no. Thank you for your attention. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming. I'm an old guy, so I graduated from Morgan State University about, 1840, something. But, I'm glad that you're going to help our school, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Any further questions of this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
I see Senator Mouts out here, so we're going to proceed to nominee number 7. This is James Bell Jr., a constituent District 37, Senator Mouts, for the State Board of Education.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, colleagues. It's an honor to be able to present Dr. James Bell. I'll refer to him as James and Dr. Bell. He's been nominated to serve on the State Board of Education. I've known Dr. Bell personally for a number of years. He's been a leader in education throughout his career. He's had a career both in Talbot and Dorchester County, and now he's kind of moved on and still doing education, but at a different level. He's working with BAM, Building African American Minds, based in Easton. And it's been visited a number of times in Talbot County where Dr. Bell is working with programming both for youth and for adults. He has an incredible resume. He's cut from the finest cloth. And in addition to that, he's known throughout the community. He's involved in all sorts of activities. I was so excited to be able to introduce him today. I thought we'd have a packed executive nominations. I know I've been here a lot this session, and we've had full attendance. And you know, I know we have good attendance tonight, but I'm just elated to be able to recommend Dr. Bell and to be able to introduce him to the committee. And so with that, I'd like to turn the microphone over to Dr. Bell for his introduction and a little more about his background. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman Lamb, Vice Chairman Muse, and distinguished senators. Thank you, Senator Moss, for that introduction. Thank you, Governor Moore, for this appointment to the State Board of Education. I am a proud career educator and a father of a middle school student and 2 adult children who are Maryland educators. I am joined tonight by my daughter, Riley, over in the corner, and my wife, Tara. Oh, yeah, come on, stand up. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have regarding my 30 years of experience in education and qualifications for this very important position.
Senator Carozza.
Thank you, Chair Lamb. Dr. Bell, thank you for your public service. I just wanted to ask you, as we're taking on the blueprint and to see the success and implementation, there's been some recommendations by our local school superintendents. They actually agreed on some recommendations that they brought forward to us in the legislature. I didn't know if you had an opportunity to review those and if you could comment on any of them.
I did have the opportunity to review all 30 of them, actually. And there seemed to be some agreement between the AIB and the state board on some of those items. And so I think those are things that, you know, if they're agreed upon with the two entities and PZAM, obviously there's something that we should strongly consider. I'm a firm believer of listening to those in the district. Because as a former educator in the district, I know how important it is to make sure you got the opinions of those who are actually doing the work.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time, Dr. Bell.
Thank you.
I think I see Senator Mary Washington back there. So if we can go to nominee number 16, this is Scott Slater, constituent district 43 for the State Board of Physicians.
Thank you, colleagues. Reverend Dr. Scott Slater has been appointed to serve as a member of the State Board of Physicians. Something of note is he's been in Florida for the last 9 or so weeks and has said, boy, am I happy to be back in Maryland. So yes, absolutely. Not just because of the weather. He's a respected faith leader, so he'll be serving as one of the consumer members that many of our health occupation boards have. He brings 3 decades of leadership in ministry, education, and advocacy, and nonprofit governance. He was a pastor, he was a priest, school chaplain. He got his Doctor of Ministry from Columbia, and he lives in the 43rd District in this cute little neighborhood just north of the county line. He's very thoughtful, and he has told me that he has family members that are physicians, and we shouldn't hold that against him, but understand that he has heard that perspective as well. Please consider endorsing I strongly endorse the nomination and would love to have you ask him any questions.
Thank you, Senator Washington. Senators Ferguson, Lamb, and Muse, thank you for this opportunity. Grateful for Governor Moore for this opportunity to serve our state on this level. I'll cut to the chase. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions for this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening. Next, we're going to go to Senator Sidnor. This is nominee number 19 for the Public Service Commission. Adogwu Linton, constituent district 44. And Senator Sidnor will do the introduction.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. For the record, Senator Sidnor here to support the nomination of Obi Linton. Now, Obi, he graduated 1 year prior to me getting to the University of Maryland School of Law, and even with him coming out prior to me, I still knew who he was. Today, I had the opportunity to nominate or to support the nomination of an extremely well-read person, someone who has been on the Maryland Public Service Commission before, who has the experience that one needs. And if you're looking for a DJ, he's the man. During the school year, you will find him DJing back to school celebrations at Johnny Cake Elementary. So anyhow, Mr. Linton.
Thank you, Senator Sidner. Figured he would slip that in. Thank you also to President Ferguson, Chairman Lamb, and Vice Chairman Muse for convening this committee meeting here today. Thank you also to Governor Moore for the opportunity to once again serve at the Maryland Public Service Commission. I am accompanied here today by several members of my family. They're all in the whole back section over there. Is my wife, my 3 sons, and my parents, my mother and father. I look forward to the opportunity to serve again at the commission, to join, assuming I'm confirmed, my future colleagues, Chair Hoover, and I believe Commissioner Barvey, and Commissioner Suckman, who is not here tonight, but is here in spirit, of course. And I look forward to serving with them, and I'm available for any questions you may have.
Any questions for this nominee? I think Senator Hayes was first, followed by Senator Hershey.
Yeah, we planned it that way. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Obi, so much for meeting prior to this hearing. One of the concerns that I raised in our hearing, living in the BGE area, catchment area, and the concerns that we have as we depart here are the escalating rates back home. And so I like, one of the things I'm very curious about is having members of the Public Service Commission not just serve as pretty much rubber stamps for the industry, and making sure that ratepayers are getting the best value out of their service. And so I will ask that you share with the committee or give the committee some reassurance that you know, your service on the Public Service Commission will be, you know, will not be just that, a rubber stamp for the industry, but also protecting the fidelity of our ratepayers.
Thank you, Senator, for the question. I have heard, and I appreciate the time that you provided in meeting with us earlier. I have heard a great deal about the increased costs and the concerns that many consumers have had about their utility bills. I can assure you that during my time at the Commission, either as the Director of the Consumer Affairs Division or as a Commissioner prior to that, that I've had no problem confronting the utility companies when necessary to make certain that they're following the policy and legislation established by the General Assembly, the regulations adopted by the Commission, and even orders or opinions issued by our courts. It's been, and it's part of the oath that I took as a commissioner, as an attorney, and I look forward to, and I can certainly confirm and state on the record for the committee that that would be my continued effort.
Senator Hershey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I first want to start by saying I second the nomination for Obi and have been pleased to be able to work with him for a number of years, even before you were commissioner in 2017 to 23. But I've always seen Obi as one that has certainly been an advocate for the ratepayers, and that's been greatly expected. But to follow my colleagues' comments, that exact same word was used, I think, when we talked about rubber stamp. And I think it's been a big concern for many of us here in the legislature that we are looking to make sure that the commission does thoughtfully take a look at various items that comes before them. I know we talked about ratepayer impact. We talked about multi-year rate plans, which I know that you had a very strong dissent on that when it was first brought up. But solar siting is a big concern, as we discussed as well, too. So I'm happy to see that you'll be back, but at the same time, want to make sure that we can continue this dialogue and that you can continue your role and be able to support the ratepayers at the opportunities that they need it most.
At every opportunity, I look forward to doing that.
Thank you,
Senator.
Thanks.
Senator Roosevelt, followed by Senator McCray.
Thank you, and thank you for taking the time to meet with me. I really appreciate it. I don't know you as well as Senator Hershey does, so it's an opportunity to get to know you and know about your experience and expertise. As we discussed, I guess my concern is certainly I share Senator Hayes and Senator Hershey's and all of our concerns about rates. My biggest concern is it seems as though in the last couple of years, between the PSC and PJM, things have gone off the track. And there are all kinds of details that folks at EEE know about more than I do. But it seems as though we need a strategy from the state of Maryland to moderate rates. And the utilities are not going to come up with those plans for themselves. And so it seems to me it's incumbent upon the PSC, along with the Energy Administration and other agencies of state government, to take some initiative and lead in terms of identifying opportunities to bend the cost curve. I'm just interested in your thoughts on that.
Thank you, Senator. I agree with you. I think that the commission has that role as part of the statutory charge that this General Assembly gave it well over 100 years ago. So you can look to the commission to take that leadership role. And I would hope that, assuming the committee were to confirm me, that I would have the opportunity again with the future colleagues to continue to pursue those types of innovative new solutions. The industry certainly has changed a lot over the last even 5 years. Today we're talking about data centers, we're talking about more expanded electric vehicle charging, there's MYPs, all of these other types of language that didn't exist 5 years ago. So there's opportunities now to continue to find ways to respond to changes in the industry and to take advantage of those opportunities to benefit ratepayers here in Maryland.
Thank you. Senator McCray.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And first, I just want to start by saying I was also fortunate enough to be able to have time to be able to share words with you, and was thoroughly impressed with about 80–90% of our conversation. But I would like to, and you may have already done this, I walked in late, obviously. If you could share your thoughts in reference to the difference between the ratepayers and BGE for those folks that are in the Baltimore region versus those folks in the DC region. We shared a lot, we talked a lot in reference to just the rate hikes that have taken place and the ones that are coming to the future. If you could just share your thoughts about some of the things that we could be doing at this moment. These are conversations that me and you had, but also if you can share your thoughts for the single parent or the person that make $40,000, $50,000 that's watching their bill double in the Baltimore region. What would you say to someone like that? Because these folks are the ones that's emailing us at this moment. I find that some of them do currently know the chairman's name. And I said to you, if folks, regular people know who Frederick Hoover is, that's a problem from that standpoint. So I would love to hear your thoughts on those three different issues.
Sure. So for the first issue regarding the difference between customers and the utility company between the Washington, D.C. and Baltimore region. It's a bit distinguished in the sense that the Washington, D.C. area encompasses, as you know, two separate companies. You have Pepco Electric, Pepco, which is an electric company, and Washington Gas Light, which is the gas company. Here in the BGE region, Baltimore Gas and Electric, they cover both of those fuels. So oftentimes customers will see, for those who are living in the DC region, a rate increase that will apply on maybe on one bill, may not necessarily apply on the other. So the Pepco utility might come in for a rate increase, and as some of you know, they did come in to participate in the multi-year plan pilot, something which I dissented against, but they did participate in that here in Maryland. Washington Gas has not, at least not to date. BGE, on the other hand, did so for both of their fuels. So you had the potential for a forecasted type of test year or service for both fuels, gas, and electric. So you really saw a different type of structure, different type of business model happening for the different companies in the different regions. So with regard to how you communicate that to consumers, you've touched a little bit on one of the issues that I was raising as part of my dissent. The purpose of participating in a pilot program was to learn more about how to do that. so that we didn't have increases, so that we developed mechanisms and ways to communicate to consumers. So to the extent there were increases in rates or changes in rates, we would be able to tell them that in advance so that they could be prepared. You wouldn't have a scenario where in the wintertime your utility bills are going up and you not know that the resultant bill would be significantly larger than what you expected. So there's as you may know, as part of my resume, I included on there that I had both Maryland-based experience as the director of the Consumer Affairs Division, but also on the national level, I was the chair of the Committee for the Consumers in the Public Interest at the National Association of Regulatory Utility Commissioners, which its acronym is NARUC. That gave me the opportunity to speak a lot, both regionally and nationally, about the different ways in which we can communicate and educate consumers about the many issues in a very complicated industry. And so that is a big challenge. It continues to be a big one because you have multiple parties trying to communicate different things from their perspective. And so the Commission in the past and historically has stood as a source of independent information, one that consumers can look at to make sure that they're not getting something biased in the favor of what a utility might think or even what a consumer advocate might think. So it's an ongoing challenge. It's one that I think we need to continue working on. Now, with regard to that individual single mom living in Baltimore City who's seeing their rates increase, that's always a tough challenge. You know, oftentimes we'll say things like, you should participate in the low-income heating and energy assistance program, which they should. We would tell them to contact the utility company to participate in whatever initiatives they have, which they also should. But there's always more that we can do. And I think the first thing, and perhaps the most important, is to make sure that we do everything we can so that they don't get into that situation. You know, by handling by being tough and very, tough is probably not the best word to use, but tough on the utility companies to make sure that when they are coming to the Commission looking to either recover money from customers or looking to forecast the future spending that they will have, that we are focused on making sure that the pennies are counted and that we know that they're not spending more than they should or being overly aggressive in spending, but they're doing what's necessary in order to maintain a safe and reliable service throughout their system. But for consumers that are facing that specific and unique challenge, especially if they have the bill in hand now, and these are probably the ones that, for those of you in the BGE area, those are the ones you're hearing from. I'm sure you're hearing it from the other utilities as well. For those customers, the most important thing they can do first is to reach out. And that's not always easy. There are some customers that are very proud and are not interested in asking for help. But we need them to do that because that's the assistance and the information and the people who could be experts to help them can't do it if we don't know who they are. So they need to reach out. When I was the director of the Consumer Affairs Division, we received thousands of calls from customers. The last time this type of challenge came up in 2009. Well, we had a similar situation where consumers had very high bills, and that resulted in thousands of complaints from customers. And we encouraged them to contact us. We encouraged them to reach out so that we could help them. Sometimes we'll come into scenarios where there's unique elements of their bill that needs to be addressed. They may have a competitive supplier there that charged them too much. They may have an issue with an appliance in their home, and there are programs that could assist them with that. There could be a range of other challenges that are happening that's unique to their experience. And in order to be able to help them with that, we have to figure out who they are and interact with them. So for those consumers that are reaching out to you, and this would go to any senator and any of your constituents, you should ask them to reach out, if not to the utility company because they think they're trying to collect the money from me, I don't want to talk to them, then contact the Commission, contact the People's Council. You can contact the Maryland Fuel Fund. There are a number of agencies out there that would attempt to assist them. And so that way the wheels can get started. But they shouldn't ignore it. They shouldn't, and they most certainly shouldn't despair over it. I know that that's a broad thing to say, but utility companies don't want to disconnect customers. Utility companies don't want to disconnect customers. The commission certainly doesn't want to see that. None of you want to see that. And the advocate community doesn't want to either. And so we are looking for ways to make sure that that doesn't happen.
The Vice Chair.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming to meet with me and answering all my questions tonight. I really appreciate that. I did tell you that I did not anticipate that you would have more than 2 questions. My bad. I forgot to tell my colleagues, so it is what it is. So, but welcome and thank you very much. Okay.
Any other questions for this nominee? And appreciate the time, the opportunity to meet earlier. Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, committee members.
Senator Hedelman's been waiting back there, so we're going to bring her nominee up. This is Stephen Seibel, who is a constituent of District 11 for the University of Maryland Medical System Board of Directors.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of executive nominations. I'm Shelley Hedelman from District 11 in Baltimore County, and I am very pleased to introduce Steve Seibel. Steve is a partner with Caves Valley Partners. He, I think, knows many of you on this committee. He's one of the most active real estate developers in the Baltimore metro region. Prior to that, he had his own development company, and he also practiced law for many years. He's an active member in the community. He serves on the board of Signal 13 Foundation, which supports Baltimore City police personnel that are going through hardships and their children with scholarships. He is currently a member of the University of Maryland Board of Regents and is being nominated for an appointment on the University of Maryland Medical System. I've known Steve for many, many years, and he is an active member of our community, and I am happy to present him to you today. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Thank you, Senator Hedelman. And thank you, Senators Ferguson, Lamb, and Hughes, members of the committee. I was honored to be nominated to the Board of Regents by my friend Governor Moore, and I'm also very honored to be nominated as one of the 3 University System of Maryland Regents to serve on the UMS Board, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Senator Zucker.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to say hello to my friend Steve, and certainly second the nomination. And it's good to have this type of expertise utilized in the state of Maryland. And Steve, thank you for saying yes to it.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. And Senator Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate it. I was asked by my colleague from East Baltimore, the Senator McCray, to bring greetings and also recognize the fact that you're a friend of both of ours. Steve, I did have one legitimate question. So you're on the Board of Regents. You're serving as a representative from the Board of Regents to the UMS Board, right?
Correct. There are 3 slots on the UMS Board reserved for Regents.
Interesting. So you got confirmed to be on the Board of Regents, but then you have to be confirmed to be a member of the Board of Regents through the UMS Board.
Correct.
That's interesting piece of trivia.
Senator Lamb just explained to me why that is.
Got it. I'll have to get the Cliff Notes later. Thank you. You're welcome. Always good to see you.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right. Any other? You good? Any other questions for this nominee? And appreciate the opportunity to meet earlier. Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
I see Senator Brooks has been patiently waiting there as well. So we're going to bring forward Ron Charles McLean, who is a nominee for the Public Service Commission, a constituent of District 10, and Senator Brooks. You may proceed.
All righty, good evening. For the record, Senator Brooks, 10th Legislative District. Good evening, Chairman Lamb, Vice Chair Muse, and members of the committee. It is with great distinct and honor and privilege to present to you Ryan Charles, or simply Chuck McLean, a dedicated public servant and a proud constituent of District 10, as he is considered for the appointment to the Public Service Commission of Maryland for a 5-year term. Chuck brings a wealth of experience, legal expertise, and regulatory acumen that makes him exceptionally qualified for this role. As Chief Public Utility Law Judge, he has spent years overseeing complex regulatory cases involving energy, telecommunication, and infrastructure, ensuring that fairness, consumer protection, and Maryland energy goals remain at the forefront of every decision. His leadership in rate cases, renewable energy projects, and utility oversight has been instrumental in shaping the future of our state's energy policy. Beyond his judicial expertise, he has led key regulatory work groups driving forward Maryland's climate solutions, distribution system planning, and performance-based regulations. His ability to navigate legal complexities, engage diverse stakeholders, and uphold the public interest makes him an invaluable asset to this commission. Before serving as a public utility law judge at the Public Service Commission, Chuck built a strong foundation in justice and public service as a military prosecutor and government attorney. His extensive knowledge on regulatory law, combined with his proven leadership and policy expertise, ensures that he will excel in this new role. I am proud to support his nomination, and I'm confident that his knowledge, experience, and dedication will greatly benefit the residents of Maryland and the future of our utility regulation. So I present to you, Chuck.
Thank you, Senator Brooks, Senate President Ferguson, Chair Lamb, Vice Chair Hugh Muse, and committee members. Thank you for your time this evening. Thank you to Governor Moore for the confidence in nominating me to be a commissioner at the Public Service Commission. I'd like to recognize my family, my wife Angie, my daughters Madeline and Gabriella. I would not be standing here without their love and support. And with that, I'm available for any questions you may have.
Right, we'll start with Senator Hayes, then Senator Hershey, and then Senator McCray.
Gotcha. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chuck, similar question. You know, we are often bombarded by our constituents who are experiencing, you know, high rates. And so I guess I want to invite you to give us a reassurance that you will be an independent member of the PSC and that and alleviate concerns that may exist of individuals that serve it on the commission being just a rubber stamp for the industry. So if you would just give us some insight, I greatly appreciate it.
Certainly, sir. For the last almost 11 years, I've served as a judge, with the last 6 being as the Chief Public Utility Law Judge. I've handled dozens of cases, and I've never been accused of being a rubber stamp for the utilities or ratepayers or another stakeholder, sir. I intend to take the same approach when I get onto, if provided I get onto the commission, and base all my decisions on the record of each individual case and the law that's applicable. So I do not foresee that being an issue with me at all, sir.
Senator Hershey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Chuck, again, thank you for the opportunity that we had to meet together as well.
My pleasure, sir.
Obi mentioned, I think, something that a lot of us have been trying to support for many years, and that is the absolute role of the public utilities. And he mentioned a safe and reliable service. I think over the years we've gotten to broaden their charge in what we've been asking them to do. You know, we have them, in some cases, providing electric vehicle infrastructure. We've talked about reliability indices, SAIDI and SAFE, you know, in dealing with outage durations and interruption frequencies, and the potential, diminishing return on if you go further and further out, are you getting any bang for the for the buck anymore. And all of those things have added to utility rates and the impact that it has on our customers. Just your thoughts on those types of things, and maybe, are there ways to start scaling back what we really have the public utilities do rather than this broadened aspect of things that they've been providing lately?
Certainly, sir, and probably to touch on the reliability issue. I know that was a big concern probably 10, 12 years ago, and the utilities, based on the regulations that have been imposed by the commission, have steadily improved into, I believe, most of them are in the first quartile.
Right.
But I agree with you that there does come a point where do you want a gold-plated system where you're spending X amount of dollars for a very small increase? So I think the commission, we need to be wary of not, I want to say encouraging, but not approving projects that aren't really worth the bang for the buck. So that money could probably either be spent elsewhere or possibly not at all.
Right. And so, but that is a role of the commission, right, is looking at these projects and determining. Now, as regulators, I know that, sometimes, and I'm not saying that you said this, but it's easy to say, well, we're only doing what the legislature has told us to do. And when we get into these types of projects, is it something that we've given, absolute guidance on and said, yes, we need that gold-plated standard in reliability, or are we acceptable saying something a little bit less because of that, again, diminishing returns? You're paying so much more to get smaller and smaller reliability increases. So, I think as your role in the commission, from our perspective, a lot is important to be able to have a voice to say when things are happening because we've required it, or things that are happening because of the role that you guys play.
Sure. Well, as I've heard several times, this past week, the legislature makes a policy, we just try and implement it. Right. Now, just because the legislature says for a utility to do X, doesn't mean that they can come in and spend, a gajillion dollars on it. It still has to be a reasonable and prudent project to be recovered. So even though I don't think falling back on the legislature told us to do this, you still have to look at what the proposal is and ensure that it's in concert with the policy, sir.
Well, that's greatly appreciated. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Next, we'll do Senator McCray, followed by Senator Reedy, and then Senator Roosevelt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and just thank you for the opportunity, once again, not only just to be able to meet, but also to have this discussion. And my line of question is more because I feel as though I have to represent the folks that continuously email me from that standpoint. So I'll ask you the same 3 questions, and I'm going to put an extra question on there if you can. Can you speak to the 2 rate increases that we'll be receiving from the Baltimore region with BGE and your thoughts from that standpoint? Can you speak to some of the things that you would like to see, not just for low income, but for middle class folks that are watching their BGE bills almost double from that standpoint in our region? Can you also speak, not to me, but more importantly, to the person that does make $40,000, $50,000 in that Baltimore region, doing everything possible to make sure that they do things right, but watching themselves have this unbearable cost from a utility? And we know the position of your peer in reference to the multi-year agreement because he said that he was a dissenting vote, but I would really like to understand where you would have been at if the opportunity to be able to see on that specific issue. Thank you.
I'll start with the last one first, sir. It's difficult to say where I would have been or how I would have ruled. I haven't been involved in those cases. I haven't gone through all the testimony, questioned the witnesses. So I don't know that it's appropriate for me to say how I would have ruled in a particular case. I'm not trying to be difficult or vague. It's just I can't sit here and say the commission nailed it or the commission got it incorrect or I would have done this differently.
Do you remember the first 3 that I asked? But for that one, if you could just speak to if it was to come before you. Right now it's a pilot. So if they were looking to sustain the multi-year agreement, where you would be at?
Well, again, the commission is currently looking at that right now, sir. There's a lessons learned. I believe it's case number 9645. They've had hearings. They've had testimony on whether it should be maintained, it should be changed, or if it just be disregarded altogether. So again, I'm not as familiar with those proceedings, the testimony, the cross-examination, what happened. So and plus the commission's already holding that. I don't know that it's appropriate for me to comment on it, sir. I mean, it's a pilot program. Could it be tweaked? I'm sure. But what those are or what it would look like, I can't say, sir.
Let's get to the other three.
All right. All right, so the rate increases for BG, sir, I assume you're talking about the one that just went into effect on January 1st, and the next one, are you talking about the one that's coming from the SOS rates in June?
Yes.
Okay, so the rate increases with BGE, they came obviously at a time when it was extremely cold, and I apologize if I know you've probably heard this, but it was more of I see it as a perfect storm. The rates went into effect on January 1st. The Empower rates changed and are now a volumetric rate. So the more electricity and gas you use, your Empower charge is also increasing. You've got the supply and demand issues that we've been having. So, I mean, I don't want to say it is what it is, but you know, it's difficult, and everyone is unfortunately having to deal with it. The rate increase that's coming in in June, that's coming as part of the PJM capacity auction, sir. So that's not something that the commission has really control over. Moving on to the low income and middle income bills. I don't want to repeat a lot of what Obi said, but the low income, the commission is currently has a work group that's looking at establishing a specific low income rate. That report is due out April 1st, sir. But in terms of I think your questions 2 and 3 kind of go together, sir. You know, what can low income and middle income customers do? There's a lot of programs out there that folks don't know about, that they're paying for, that they're not taking advantage of. The Empower Maryland surcharge is a great one. For instance, you can have someone come into your home, do what's called a quick home energy checkup, and they can tell you ways to be more efficient, ways to save money, whether it's putting plastic over a window, caulking it, putting in a door stop, things of that nature, or a door sweep, things that you can save electricity on. I'd be happy to share that with you as well, sir. But it's a difficult time, sir. It's a difficult time, and I know the legislature is dealing with several bills in an attempt to increase the generation in the coming future, and certainly that would be welcome.
Mr. Chair, I'm just going to give a comment. I won't ask any more questions. I pride myself as being a straight shooter. I think that when folks ask me a question, that I give them very direct answers. If I do not know an answer, I make sure that I do get them when I do know, so they don't find out about it in a public way. And that's all folks my folks are just layman's terms. They just yes, no, you with me, you not with me, you on the other side. And that's what I was trying to understand from this piece of it. But I do want to put a face to the BG bills and some of the emails that I received. I received an email from Ms. Jacqueline Hill the beginning of this month. This is a retired senior that talked about her BG bill once being $200-300, that's now $600. So when I ask you in reference to low income, middle income, this is a woman that lives by herself, that's retired, that now has a $600 BG bill. And the expectation for me, the expectation that she's putting for me is that the folks that we're appointing in these positions know who she is and understand her position when she's paying her bill. And I'll leave it at that.
Yes, sir. And if I could come back to you, sir, there's one thing I left out. Another option for customers is budget billing. A lot of people don't know about it. Again, it's not going to lower your rate, but it's going to avoid those spikes. So it's going to set your level rate for 12 months, and you're going to pay that exact same amount, whether you use more or less. And then it'll just reset at the end of the 12-year period. Again, it's not a fix. It's not going to lower your bill, but it'll give you certainty, and so you know what to expect each month, sir.
Senator Reedy, followed by Senator Roosevelt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you. I know we spoke in my office. I appreciate you. Well, actually, we spoke on Zoom.
Yes, sir.
In my office. Just wanted to ask you, some of the other questions that have been raised, I think, are all important to me as well and my constituents. But of particular concern in my area is the PSC getting robust public comment and having an opportunity for people to be able to make their voice heard on major projects affecting their community. And I know you can't comment on ongoing possible projects. Obviously, you're in a judicial role in that sense. I wanted to question what the PSC will be doing to be sure that people in communities affected by major projects will have the chance to, not just have one meeting with 1,000 people, but really have a lot of opportunity to make their voice heard. If you could comment on that.
Sure. And I'd say there was a large project going from Baltimore County through Carroll to Frederick, for
Something
instance.
like that.
And as we discussed in our meeting, sir, I don't think getting the notice out to the public is going to be a problem in that case. I think there's been over 160, 70 interveners in that particular proceeding. Now, while I can't say for certain what the commission's going to do, but in comparison to the last new transmission line that was built, the Transource, or was not built, it was proposed. There were several meetings held on the weekends in high school auditoriums that could accommodate hundreds of people. So I would assume something similar to that would occur, but I can't say for certain. Obviously, that's up to the commission right now, sir. But I don't think getting word out to the public will be a problem.
But will it be? You'll be part of the commission that will be making decisions about how that rolls out, correct?
Yeah, hopefully, yes,
Knock
sir.
on wood, if
Yes,
you
sir.
got it. And then I think as a follow-up, and we're concerned about when corporate interests, when energy companies come to you and have to present why they want to do a particular project, the commission is empowered to. Is the commission empowered to fully halt something in this case, or are they only empowered to make adjustments or changes or go back to the drawing board?
I think yes. I mean, yes to all those. If the commission's not satisfied with the application that's been proposed, it certainly could be rejected. And one of with a new transmission line, alternative routes is something that is statutorily required to be considered, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate your answers, both personally when we met and then now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Senator Roosevelt.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you for meeting with me as well. And
My pleasure, sir.
The high point, it was definitely learning that you had married so well. So it was very, very nice to get to know you. I want to ask the same question I asked your colleague, and we talked about this when we met together, is I'm concerned that we have this affordability crisis, and it seems like folks were asleep at the switch. And so my question is, as a new public service commissioner, how do you see your role in leadership in Maryland so that between what you do, between what the Energy Administration does, what Department of Natural Resources does, how people interact with PJM, we have a champion for Maryland ratepayers thinking long-term about these affordability issues?
Well, I think one of the obviously big issues is generation. There's been more generation that's been retiring than has been coming onto the system. And as we discussed last week, sir, there's a major backlog in the way PJM is processing the generation. Now, hopefully that'll be squared away in the next year or so, but right now, and I know something else we talked about is, the commission going out there and soliciting generation. That's not something that we've done in the past. I believe, in speaking with some of my colleagues, that there may be some authority out there in the deregulation bill that happened, 25 years ago. But I mean, again, the legislature has some bills that might require the commission to issue RFPs for certain types of generation. So if that ends up happening and becomes law, that'll certainly be one way to hopefully address some of the in-state generation, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions of this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
For your time this evening. Next, we're going to go to the State Board of Elections. This is a constituent of District 39 of Senator King's, and this is Mr. James Shalik.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, I have before you this afternoon Mr. James Shalick from Montgomery Village. And he's been an old friend of mine for, not an old friend, he's been a friend of mine for many, many years, he and his wife, and I'm happy to see her here with him too. Shalick. And I have a lot of good things to say about him, if I can find it here. Okay, he's got 53 years of legal experience. He's been in private law practice since 1994. His claim to fame is that he prosecuted the son of Sam, and we've given him a hard time about that a few times. He was a former president of the Montgomery County Board of Election for 6 years. And I think the thing that impressed me the most, even though he's a friend of mine, is the fact that we are of different parties. You would never know it by our relationship and the relationship that he has had on the election boards that he's been in contact with. So I would ask for him to be reappointed, and I appreciate your support.
Thank you, Senator King. Yeah, I've lived in Montgomery Village now for 36 years, and nobody's been a better advocate for Montgomery Village than Senator King. And if you come visit us in Montgomery Village, it's hot. It's a hot community, man. We've got hundreds and hundreds of new townhouses, new businesses. So thanks to you, it's hot. It's hot. Mr. Chairman and Mr. Vice Chairman, President Ferguson, it's an honor to be here, it really is. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the board. I've been vice chairman of the board for about 9 or 10 months now, and I'd love to be reappointed because this is a great team. First, I would say my headline is we've had, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 votes. We usually vote 6 or 7 times a month. Every vote, not most, not almost most, every single vote, every vote since I've been vice chairman has been unanimous. You would never know at our meetings who were the Republicans and who were the Democrats. You wouldn't know that because we all have one mission: to run safe and fair elections. And I thank the governor for his faith in me. This is a tough job. It's a tough job. I'll tell you why in a second. I want to thank the governor for his support. I want to thank Appointment Secretary Edwards, who's navigated me and all the other candidates here through the system. We're going to miss her. I want to thank Nicole Harris, the state Republican chairwoman. She's been a big supporter, and I'm grateful to her. But everybody that's vetted me and got me through the system only has one goal, and that's to run fair, open elections. And we have done that. Maryland has run an excellent election. We have 4.3 million registered voters. For president, the election, we had, read this, 3,038,334 votes. That's a big deal to navigate this system. And I want to shout out to the local boards of elections. The dedication is unbelievable. It really is. I've been in government a long time, and I've had a lot of positions in New York, here, Washington, D.C. This board is the best. Our chairman, Michael Summers, he's a great guy. He is a great guy, and he's a great leader. Jared Demarinis, our administrator, the best. He works 24/7, and his deputy, Katie Berry, excellent. And I saw Senator Kagan here when I was on the Montgomery County Board, and even now, she's been a tremendous advocate for elections, integrity, been a big help to me. I made a lot of mistakes when I first went on the Montgomery County Board. She was always there for me and as a resource, so I want to thank her too. Yeah, tonight I'm with my wife of 51 years, Sheila, and she's been with me from my days in the Bronx DA's Homicide Bureau to here. And without her, I wouldn't be here. I just want to say that this is a tough job. People, they watch TV the night of the election, they see the results, they go to bed, over. No, this is a tough job. Notwithstanding that on November 8th, during our canvass, we had credibly 15 bomb threats to our different facilities in most of the big counties and a number of the small ones. 15 bomb threats from Europe. Jared DeMarinis got right on it. The FBI has been right on it. Within a day, we had swept all our sites. We had evacuated all the buildings. A lot of our people were very upset, understandably. A lot of our workers are elderly. A number of them have wheelchairs, walkers, canes. And you want to know something? The day after the bomb threats, the day after, all these people who were elderly and infirm, they were back. They were back. And that's the kind of people we have running our elections. I just want to stress that it's really an honor to be part of this board. They do a great job. We have fair and free elections. I've never seen any evidence of any problems, although being a board member is not easy. The board gets sued in federal court, in circuit courts. A number of our members are named individually as defendants in court. That's not pleasant, to be a federal, a defendant in a federal lawsuit. A lot of our members, I haven't been there yet, but I will be. And a number of us, I can speak from experience, get threats, get criticisms. We get that. So it's not all peaches and cream, but the result is excellent, and I'd love to be continued on that board. It'd be a real honor. I appreciate it. And any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Senator Croza, followed by Senator Reedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Shalek, thank you for your public service.
Thank you.
And I appreciate the comments you made about the locals. I think in some cases, the locals can benefit from additional support at the state level, and I've had those conversations with Administrator DeMarinis about that. The one question I have, and it's some of it's communication. We sometimes are approached by our constituents that have either questions or concerns or ideas about how to either clean up the voter rolls or to make sure that, ideas about voter fraud. And sometimes when they ask the question, the response, whether it's at the state or local level, is a little defensive, basically, and sometimes in the political arena where people say, well, are you contesting the whole outcome or results of the election? And they're not. In many cases, these constituents truly care about the integrity. They're bringing issues sometimes, whether it's they've done their own research and found 100 people that are dead and they're still on the rolls and they're trying to bring that forward. They truly care about if there is fraud, that a person, the right person is voting, So my question is there a way that the board at the state level and maybe even communicate with the locals that when constituents are truly bringing some legitimate issues, whether it's cleaning up the rolls or fraud issues or security issues, that we can deal with it in a way that we can be a little bit more responsive?
That's a great question. I mean, it all comes down to the people that are on the boards. Michael Summers is very receptive to public comment. Jared DeMarinis, Katie Berry, his deputy. We're here to listen. The voter rolls, people have complaints about the voter rolls, understandable that there are issues. We have 4.3 million registered voters, but this is a very transient state. We have people are registered to vote here, they go to college. People register here, they travel on business. People here, they go to school out of town. People die, we don't get notice of that. So to have a perfect voter roll is very difficult, capital very, because it's transient. People move, they don't tell us. There's a process where they get a sample ballot they're supposed to send it back if they don't live there. So people understandably are concerned about the voter rolls because, their neighbor's dead for 10 years and they see that the neighbor's still getting, voter mail or things like that. Understandable. We're trying our best. We're trying our best. People tell us, Susie next door is dead. We deal with it. We have to be told. We have to be told. We have to be informed. But we have a team that's very receptive. I don't know about past teams.
Well, I appreciate that, and I do
This
want
team
to,
is very-
I do want to keep the door open on that, so.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Senator Reedy, followed by Senator Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I just wanted to second the nomination of Mr. Shalek. Jim, you and I met, I think, in 2008, and you were one of the chairs of the McCain for Maryland team. And we went to the convention together, and you've always been a really strong legal advocate for common sense principles. And I know you're doing a great job on the board. And thank you for describing how well everybody's working together and,
Yes.
and keeping focused on the job at hand. So I strongly support your nomination.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Senator Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sir, I think I share your enthusiasm about the state board. I guess my issue more comes with the local boards, more specifically Baltimore City. And last year I introduced legislation in this body to make sure that the state board can lend more support to our local boards. I have not had the same level of confidence in our local board as we have shared in our state board. And I think there's some rooms in improvement. And so we gave this responsibility to the state board. So you all will be in a position and the executive director will be in a position to further support them. But on any given election day, we have polling places at schools that have been closed for 2 years because they was relocated somewhere else. On any given election day in some of the most vulnerable communities, we have places that aren't handicap accessible, right? It's just the due diligence that's needed to make sure that everyone has an equal opportunity to participate in the electoral process is important. Just recently, I was contacted by one of our local newspapers because the Board of Elections was complaining that we urged them to exercise their right to extend another early voting poll, right? For years, they've had the authority to go up to 7. They've only had 6. We asked them to go up and they complained about it. So I think there's some things that the state board can do along with the executive director to help local boards understand the intent of the General Assembly and all of the things that we've done to make voting more accessible in our state, and also hold those managers and supervisors accountable for making sure that they put systems in place that don't disenfranchise people. And so I would hope that you will continue, look at the excellence that's being provided at the state board, and hopefully that's transferred over and supported in our local boards in a way that we all could be proud of.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Seeing no further questions, I just have 2 very brief questions. These are questions I've been asking for all nominees for the State Board of Elections, so don't take it personally. These are just kind of questions I think are important to have answered before folks continue on their service there. Just yes or no, have you been engaged in any activities that someone might view as questioning the integrity of an election?
No.
And can you deny that you had participation in any activities during January 6, 2021 in Washington, D.C.?
I was home watching on TV.
All right. Any other questions for this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to go to Senator Jackson. This is nominee number 1 for the Office of Administrative Hearings. Rena Karit Shah, who's a constituent of District 27, and Senator Jackson will do the introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, Mr. President, Ms. Edwards and your appointments team, and members of the committee. For the record, Senator Michael Jackson from District 27 here to introduce Ms. Rena Shaw of Calvert County, who's been nominated to fill the remainder of a term, 4-year term of the Office of Administrative Hearings. Ms. Shaw holds a doctorate degree from the University of Maryland Law, a master's in public affairs from Princeton, and a bachelor's from George Washington University. Ms. Shaw currently serves as the executive director of the Maryland Access to Justice Commission, where she chairs the Access to Counsel and the Eviction Task Force, and co-chairs both the Innovations and Tier Legal Services and the Affordable Law Task Forces. Ms. Shaw previously served as director of the Human Rights Project in the Maryland Legal Aid Bureau, conducted research for the Southern Africa Litigation Center, volunteered with the Peace Corps in Nepal, and worked for the United States Senator, our United States Senator, Senator Barbara Mikulski. And as a caveat to all of that she's done and more, she is very fluent in 4 languages. With full faith and confidence, I present to you Ms. Shaw, and it's my pleasure to nominate her for appointment to fill this position. Ms. Shaw.
Thank you so much, Senator Jackson. Thank you to Senate President Ferguson, also Chair Lamb and Vice Chair Muse. I also want to thank Governor Moore for this opportunity to serve on the Board of Administrative Hearings. And I also want to take the opportunity to thank my family, members of the Access to Justice Commission, also the Maryland State Bar Association for their love and support. I am open to any questions.
Any questions for this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we're going to go to the State Board of Physicians, nominee number 13. This is Dr. Dina L. Medwali, who's a constituent of District 46 and of President Ferguson. State Board of Physicians.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the Executive Nominations Committee. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Dina L. Medwali. She is a phenomenal physician in neonatology, pediatrician, and has made a name for herself regionally and nationally, working on young babies who are born substance exposed. And she has she's a leader in dealing with substance abuse issues when it comes to pregnancies. And she has just been a global leader, really, on this front. And I think that she will make a phenomenal appointee to the Board of Physicians, as she knows the core issues that really matter for folks and who we need representing us in our physician community. With that, strongly endorse her appointment.
Well, thank you, Chair Lamb, Vice Chair, and all members of the Executive Committee. It's a really big honor to be nominated by our Governor Russ Moore, and to have this opportunity to serve on the Maryland Board of Physicians. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions for this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening. Thank you for the opportunity to meet earlier. All right. We're going to go to nominee number 5. This is Luke Dixon, constituent of District 30. Oh, sorry. I created a traffic jam over there. Why don't we do Senator King first? I apologize. I told her we'd do her next. Nominee number 10, Jonathan Blum, for the Health Services Cost Review Commission. Senator Smith had to step away for another meeting, so Senator King will do the introduction here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You said Senator Smith had to go off to a meeting. He's sorry he can't be here to introduce, but I told him I would fill in for him. Jonathan Bloom is a seasoned healthcare policy leader with extensive experience in both the public and private sectors. Most recently, he served as Principal Deputy Administrator and Chief Operating Officer at the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, from 2021 to 25, where he led strategic initiatives that expanded healthcare coverage, improved quality of care, and strengthened agency operations. Under his leadership, CMS navigated critical challenges, including post-pandemic recovery and the response to the 2024 Change Healthcare cyber attack. A Harvard Kennedy School graduate, Bloom has been deeply involved in community healthcare initiatives, serving on the boards of Mary Center, the Montgomery County Primary Care Coalition, and the Medicare Rights Center. He earned a master's degree in public policy from the Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University and a bachelor's degree from the University of Pennsylvania. And I urge support for his appointment to the Health Services Cost Review Commission.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's a great honor to hopefully serve the state. Maryland has one of the most unique healthcare systems in the country, and it has been a leader in how to think about building better access to care and saving costs. And I hope to be part of this commission in order to continue that work forward. I want to thank the governor, Chairman Lamb, it's good to see you in person, Vice Chair Muse, members of the committee. I also want to thank my wife, Wendy, who's sitting in the back, and look forward to your questions.
Senator Augustine.
All right. Thank you so very much for coming forward. This is a very important commission. Would you share your thoughts on total cost of care and the AHEAD model and some of the, well, just would you talk about that a little bit as critical as it is and your sort of thoughts on the models?
Sure. During my time at CMS, that I had the pleasure of working very closely with the state, both in 2013 when it signed the first waiver, but also during 2024. The state has always been a phenomenal leader in thinking through how to think about total cost of care, which helps support hospitals throughout the state. The waiver was conceived as really helping rural hospitals first, but then was expanded to include hospitals here in the state. And I think the opportunity that has been there has been progress, but far more needs to be done, is to really think about bringing the whole system to one healthcare model. And that is the promise for AHEAD, really to bring everything together to ensure that there is common incentives, there are common goals to improve access to care, common goals to improve the quality of care while keeping within total budget constraints. The system is not perfect, but it is far better today, in my view, than it was 10, 15 years ago, and a lot of opportunity for further progress. I've had a chance to hear firsthand during the past several days, during the past several weeks, that more can be done to bring transparency to the system, and I would pledge as part of the commission to help bring that transparency. There is a lot of complexity to the system. There is a lot of complexity to the model, and it would see my role to help bring transparency, bring more understanding, bring more engagement to the overall process.
Mr. Chair, I just got a follow-up. So thank you for that answer. A part of our application and a part of the model going forward includes a health equity element. Yes. Which we know, sort of given some of where this current administration is, and it's not really quite clear. I know it's still in the instruction as of right now. Can you speak to that, including how you, do you find health equity to be central no matter what sort of happens from CMS?
During my time at CMS, most recently, that I was proud to lead the initiatives to promote healthcare equity. And during my time with the agency, that we worked hard to expand access to care. We worked hard to improve the quality of care to all people throughout the country. We focused on how to reduce costs to ensure more people have true access to care. So I am committed to promoting those goals as part of the commission. It is true that this administration doesn't necessarily support these goals, but I think it's critical for direct engagement and not to step back with the goals, the promise to expand care to all residents, to ensure that the quality goals meet all residents of the state, be it urban, be it rural, be it suburban. Again, the model is not perfect, but it is far better than anything else in the country. And I believe that there is so much more promise to expand care to more residents here in the state.
Thank you.
Senator Vital.
Thank you. And I just want to say what a pleasure it was to meet you today. And we talked a little about, our committee in finances working with the AHEAD model. And I feel like we're kind of stuck between the Hospital Association and the payers. And it's just refreshing to hear you come with in the middle, that you're not on either side, the payers or the hospital. So thank you for your service, and we'll look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Senator.
Any further questions? If not, I have one. Appreciate the time to meet earlier, and I know it asked us earlier, but just want to get it on the record. Obviously, the HSCRC is an important regulatory agency dealing with, as was mentioned, payers and also with hospitals. As you're now kind of in a private sector role, can you commit to us that you will not take on any clients or consult for any payers that might appear before the HSCRC?
Yes, and that would extend to the hospitals too as well, that I believe that serving on the commission, that I should stay neutral for any interests that have business, be it hospitals, be it nursing homes, be it payers, but that is my commitment to this committee.
Okay. Do you have a family member, a relative that you want to recognize who's here very diligently?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Yes. All right. Thank you for being here. Any other questions for this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you, Senator.
Next, we will go to nominee number 5. This is Mr. Luke Dixon, a constituent of District 36, and Senator Hershey for the Commission on Correctional Standards.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, Senator Steve Hershey. I'm very pleased to support the nomination of my constituent Luke Dixon for a position on the Commission on Correctional Standards. Mr. Dixon comes before us with a wealth of relevant experience. He currently serves as the Deputy Warden of the Caroline County Department of Corrections. And prior to that, Mr. Dixon spent over 20 years in various correctional administration roles for the Prince George's County Department of Corrections. It's my honor to strongly support his nomination.
Senate President Ferguson, Chairman Lamb, and Vice Chair Muse, thank you for the opportunity to stand here in front of you today. Thank you to Governor Moore for the opportunity and to serve in this role. And I am happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to go to the State Board of Physicians and nominee number 15. This is Dr. Charles Simmons, constituent of District 31, Senator Simon Ayers. Senator Simon Ayers could not be here this evening, so he did send a letter on his behalf, which I'll read in part to introduce Dr. Simmons. And this is from Senator Simon Ayers. Given his experience over the past 20 years, extensive training in the medical field, and a resume that highlights case reports and research, along with his current role reviewing cases for the Maryland Board of Physicians, I believe Dr. Simmons will be deserving this appointment, and I hope you'll give him your most favorable consideration. With that, you may proceed.
Senate President Will Ferguson, Chair Lamb, Vice Chair Muse, thank you so much for your time, and for all committee members who are here today. Thank you so much for your time and for your consideration and for your service. I also want to thank Governor Moore for this nomination. I count it as an honor, and if confirmed, I hope to serve well. I want to thank also my wonderful wife, Gina, and my two wonderful girls, Zoe and Isla, who go to school right down the street here. Yeah, they help me to want to become a better man every day, and I want to thank all the physicians who have come before me, who have trained me and opened the path for me. And with that, I'll open for questions.
Any questions for this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much and appreciate the opportunity to meet her.
Thank you much.
Thank you, Dr. Simmons. We're going to go to nominee number 4. This is Hannah Idris for the State Community Health Worker Advisory Committee, constituent of District 15, and Senator Feldman, who will do the introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, colleagues. Ms. Idis is here for a spot on the State Community Health Worker Advisory Committee. Super impressive resume, earned a Master's of Public Health in Epidemiology and Biostatistics from Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, Master's MBA in Healthcare and Finance from Johns Hopkins Carey Business School. She's the current chair on the Committee on Women's Rights for the American Public Health Association, previously served as project director for CDC-funded HIV program, and finally, colleagues, was recently appointed president-elect for the Maryland Public Health Association, eminently qualified for this position, and so I will turn it over to Hannah here. Come on. Yep.
Thank you so much, Senator, for that great introduction. Apologies for coming in this week. I was supposed to be here last week, and due to my flight, I had to reschedule, so I appreciate you accommodating me. First and foremost, thank you, Chair, and thank you, Chair Senator Lamb, and the Vice Chair, the Vice Chair, Senator Muse, and the President, Bill Ferguson. And I would also like to thank the Governor for having confidence in nominating me for this position. I really appreciate this opportunity. Came my way a few weeks ago when I got a call that Maryland Public Health Association has a vacant seat for the Community Health Worker Advisory Committee, and we actually didn't know about that, so I'm happy to serve in this role. It's an honor. Thank you. And now I can take your questions if you have any questions. Yeah. By the way, can I just add, I'm happy to be the last people, because this is my first time in the building, so I'm learning. So I was able to observe everyone coming in and how the questioning goes. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, that's great. Any questions for this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
Senator Feldman, don't go anywhere yet. We're going to go to nominee number 17, Barbara Ashe, for the Procurement Improvement Council.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, again, for a spot on the Procurement Improvement Council. Barbara Ashe, somebody I do know well for many years, currently serves as the Executive Vice President of our Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce, leads the Chamber's government, a GovCon Net Council, whose goal is to promote the economic impact of the federal government presence in this region and advocate on behalf of the contracting community for business opportunities. With that, I present to you Ms. Barbara Ashe.
Thank you, Senator Feldman, and Senator Lamb, and Senator Muse, and President Ferguson. Thank you for this opportunity to be here. I am also very thankful for the Governor, Wes Moore, for this nomination, and I am very excited to be able to work with Chair Wallace Sermons. I had the pleasure of working with him in the past when he was at the U.S. Small Business Administration, and excited to begin the work with your confirmation. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions for this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. Appreciate your time this evening.
Next, we'll go to number 18, Jason Down, who is being nominated for
member of the Board of Trustees of the Office of the Public Defender, and District 12, Senator Lamb.
All right, Vice Chair Muse, members of the Executive Nominations Committee, it's my pleasure to introduce Jason Downs for appointment to the Board of Trustees for the Office of the Public Defender. Mr. Downs is a graduate of the University of Maryland School of Law and has extensive legal experience in Maryland and the District of Columbia. He started his career as a public defender with the D.C. Public Defender's Office, where he worked for 8 years. In addition to his service as a public defender, Mr. Downs has served as a Chief Deputy Attorney General in the Office of the Attorney General for the District of Columbia. He now works at Brownstein, Hyatt, Farber, and Schreck, where he works on a variety of issues, including state and federal regulation and civil rights issues related to machine learning. Mr. Downs' experience and expertise will be an asset to the Office of Public Defender, especially as the Public Defender's Office continues to handle how to address evolving technology issues. And with that, let me present Mr. Jason Downs.
Thank you, Senator Lamb, and thank you to Senators Ferguson and Muse. Appreciate your time. Thank you to the entire committee for your service, and a special thank you to Governor Moore for trusting me to play a role in the fair and zealous administration of justice. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Ms. Nunes? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
All right, next we're going to go to Tara Mahan, who is a constituent District 25 of Senator Charles. He could not be here this evening, unfortunately, so I will go ahead and do a quick introduction for Tara Mahan. She has extensive experience serving as a physician assistant at multiple institutions, including as a hospitalist and surgical physician assistant at Anne Arundel Medical Center here in Annapolis, and now currently with the United Urology Group in Largo, Maryland. She has also previously had experience as a quality improvement specialist, both with Holy Cross Hospital and the General Electric Company's healthcare division, and has been very active in the Maryland Academy of Physician Assistants, both as its president, vice president, and also at the national level with the American Academy of Physicians Assistants. And so really pleased to be able to introduce her to bring her expertise to the State Board of Physicians.
Good evening. Thank you, Chair Lamb, and thank you, Senator President Ferguson, as well as Vice Chair Muse, and thank you all of you for your fine service to the state of Maryland. I also want to thank Governor Westmore for the opportunity and confidence in me for nominating me, and I'm open to any questions.
Any questions for this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
And we're going to go to Mr. Ken Brannon, who is a constituent of District 30, Senator Henson, who could not be here this evening, so I will go ahead and do the introduction for Mr. Brannon. This is for the Maryland Health Benefit Exchange Board. Mr. Brannon has extensive experience in the nonprofit sector, served in multiple leadership roles in the Special Olympics here in Maryland, both on the board of directors and also as the chair of the board, but also has served on various healthcare commissions and councils here in the state with the Healthcare Reform Coordinating Council and the Maryland Health Commission, and then also with the Health Benefits Exchange. And so look forward to his leadership and experience to be able to continue in our efforts to support our Maryland Health Benefit Exchange. And with that, you may proceed.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I want to express my appreciation to Senate President Ferguson, to Committee Chair Lamb, and to Vice Chair Muse. I also want to express my appreciation to Governor Moore and Lieutenant Governor Miller for their trust in me to become a valued member of the Maryland Health Benefits Exchange Board of Trustees. Finally, I want to thank my family, my wife Rhonda and my son Jonathan. Without their continuing love and support, I would not be provided the time to dedicate to my healthcare advocacy. It's a real honor to be considered for this position, and I look forward to making a major contribution I'm open and happy to answer any questions of the committee.
All right, any questions, Senator Beidle?
Thank you. I just want to second the nomination for Mr. Brannon, who I've known Ken and his wife, Rhonda, for a long time. And Rhonda really does a great job running Saucy Salamander. And it's a shame Ken doesn't get paid for volunteer work because he volunteers in so many organizations. But in our county, when Ken was on leadership Anne Arundel, they started a program to put the defibrillators in all the public places. And that's just been a major contribution to our county. So thank you for your work with the Health Benefit Exchange, and it's nice to see you, Ken. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Senator Beidle, for your many years of public service and your friendship.
Thank you. Any other questions for this nominee? Seeing none, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this evening.
Good evening. Thank you.
And that is the end of our list. We can go into voting. Do that at the end. Okay. I think we can move forward, everyone.
All on the list, or anyone to be separated from the list?
Yeah, Senator Hayes.
Was there some that didn't appear today? Did I miss them?
There were S1 through S12 that were not required to appear.
What about number 5 and 6? Did I miss them? Oh, 5 and 6.
Number 5 and 6 were here.
They were
Did you say
here.
5 and 6? They were here.
All right, I missed them.
Number 12 was a student member for the Morgan State Board of Regents. We've generally not required student members to appear unless they really choose to.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none? Done. And we had previously held Sandra Merchant Jones for the Hopkins Police Accountability Board, and like to move forward unless there are objections. Okay. Moved and seconded. Aye. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, it's done.
I abstain.
Right. Okay.
Chair,
Yes.
how many nominees we got next Monday? How are we looking?
How about the following Monday?
22, and next Monday should be the final hearing.
Next week should be the final week? Final?
Not unless you want to meet on sine die.
No, we're good.
Okay.